Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Arara Kenchington Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm so excited. Yay. And, I just, it's so interesting what comes up, and we're going to share quite a bit today on our show. And part of my mission is to inspire you and empower you to live your life fully in your sovereignty and power with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health, through your personal connection with spirit, your guides, your angels, the galactic team. And so today we're going to be talking about star beings, right? And so I just want to thank you all for taking the time to be here. I know how valuable your time is. And, just when we're doing this call today, take notes if you'd like, but be fully present and have an open mind, right? And just, when we're here on these calls, be willing to be fully present, be willing to learn, be willing to grow, and be willing to embrace your fullest potential. Think outside the box a little bit, right? And so I'm so excited because today Alphedia Arara Kenchington is here with us again. So please join me in welcoming her to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad you're here.
It was great fun last time, so I'm very excited about tonight's session. Yeah.
And so today, like I said, we're going to be talking about star beings, right? And who are the star beings that are trying to make the most contact with Earth and why, how to connect with star beings. And we're going to show some of them that we have and allow them to help your soul ascension this year in 2020. And we're going to do a live channeling from a star being race that wants to come through on the show, and who knows what else. And so we'll see. So for those of you who don't know Alphedia, she's an author, a spiritual channel, an Earth wisdom keeper. She offers spiritual guidance, channelings, workshops, retreats, and transmissions from many beings of light in the many realms and dimensions. She's an international facilitator, and people from all over the world take part in her courses distantly, live. She does retreats and so on, and workshops like all the time. I don't know how you do it, but every couple of days there's a new workshop or channeling or something happening.
And I'm saying no to so many. I'm like, we just can't fit it in. They're like, you can. I feel like I've been on this juggernaut train really for the last year and a half since.
Right. That's why it's like when I contacted you to be on the show, it's like, I don't know how she's going to fit it in. I don't know when she's going to fit it in, but because I see all your emails and I get all your stuff, and I've been fortunate enough to get some wonderful pieces from you. The dragons, the star beings, the skulls. All sorts of wonderful stuff, and also the workshops. I mean, the workshops are powerful. And I think, I did that soul reading, I guess we'll call it, right?
Soul channeling, yep.
Oh my God.
Well, I have got 42 of them waiting because I closed them off for 6 months because my channeling schedule was so high. Yeah. And it's always popular at this time of year. So I released them, and I do angel forecasts for the year ahead as well this time of year, 2021. So yeah, I'm pretty snowed under. All this week, I have literally just been channeling, but I did go for a walk in the snow today. So
that's good. But I was just gonna say, if you want to ever get one, please do. I don't get anything out of this, so I'm just sharing. And because I know that when I got mine last time, I had to wait like 3 weeks. Yeah. It was like 3 weeks.
Up to 5 week wait at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's okay, and but it was so worth it. It was like amazing, so just, if you ever get a chance to. It's not a special offer or anything, but Alphedia does a great job. So definitely check it out. And we will share Alphedia's website a little bit later for those of you who are interested. She also has all of her workshops right now, half price. So that's a big deal, New
Year's sale is the code if you want to access that. So yeah.
Sorry, what is it? Sorry?
It's New Year sale.
New Year sale.
Yeah.
So somebody can type it in the chat so we all remember, because I'll forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely take advantage of that. There's so many that are there. And, like I said, Alphedia does live channelings and workshops all the time. So you would definitely want to connect with her on her website or on Facebook. It's so much fun. I mean, I remember last year when I used to do them a lot. I was like, oh, this is great. This is great. This is great. Now, then I got busy. So I haven't had the chance to do one in a while, but they're amazing. So
thank you.
Please do, take a look. So today we're talking about star beings, right?
We are.
And so I have some star beings, and I'll just share really quickly. And I got these from Alphedia, so this is a rose quartz with the labradorite eyes from Canis Major. This is a fluorite from Pleiades, which I work with a lot. It's always here as I'm doing my healing calls and everything else. And then this cute little one, I think it's from Sirius.
Yeah, I think it's Sirius too.
Yeah. So I am quite, into star beings, and which is really weird because growing up, it was not part of my world at all. As some of you know, I was not into angels or anything like that, so it's like, it's really interesting how much I am now, and they resonate with me, and they have made a huge impact in my life. So who are these star beings, Alphedia?
Okay, so they are beings that live in the stars. So basically, I think it was on the BBC News, which is our main UK news channel, that one of the first female astronauts who went up into space, I saw it last week, said when somebody interviewed her, do you think aliens are real? And she's like, of course they are. Of course there's other beings living out there in this galaxy. Mm-hmm. And, so we're even getting scientists now. All astronauts are scientists. She's been out there. She's been up in space. She's had some experiences. So mostly the beings that are, well, I'll start with my journey. So I started, as many of you will know, through connecting with the angels when I was seriously ill. Then when I started to learn to walk again outside, I noticed the fairies and the elementals, and they came to me and said, write this book about our environmental messages. Obviously, I was an environmental scientist, but part of my environmental science training was to do a course called Earth Science, and that included astronomy. So we were up in the observatory. I had to sit exams on planetary science and stars, and I loved it. I absolutely loved that course. Unfortunately, you couldn't take it beyond first year. I couldn't have got a degree in it. If I could have done my degree in Earth Science from Edinburgh University, I would have done that. So I always had this connection, this interest, even, prior to walking in. For those who don't know, I'm a walk-in soul. I was Fiona, and now I'm Alphedia. So I walked in 2004, but the star beings didn't start making contact with me. So I woke up on my spiritual journey really 2005, 4-5. Set the business up in 2007, but it was really sort of 2010, 9-10, before I had my first communication with a star race, and it was the Pleiadians that came forward in a meditation, and they said, hi, we are the Pleiadians. Now, for those who don't know me, I'm a clairaudient, so I hear the beings. And I was like, okay, so they said we live in Pleiades and we wish to bring through this free transmission to offer everybody, and then we'll bring through 2 following transmissions, and we are preparing you for ascension. And at that time, 2010, was kind of vaguely in people's consciousness, the ascension process. Most people were just big into angels at that time. Fairies and elementals still were a bit way out there. So star beings were like way out there, So I said, okay, I'll do this. Do you know, I think that free transmission is probably still somewhere on my website. I'll try and find it and I can give you the link to that. So we were taken in a spaceship up to Pleiades, and I did the first transmission. And, people got a lot out of it. And then they started to work on the neurological system, and they're really good at that, the star beings, I've discovered, and I'll talk more about that. For those who don't know my story, I was bedridden for 1.5 years with a swollen brain, unable to move. So I had a lot of neurological issues, and central nervous system issues. So I actually remember now the 3rd transmission was on our central nervous systems. And it was so healing, and everybody was getting massive healing from these Pleiadians for our central nervous systems. So it first started with the Pleiadians, and they are one of the main star races that will be contacting us on Earth. So, it's probably quite common that some of your listeners may have had some Pleiadian contact. There are lots of incarnate Pleiadians. It's one of the first races that seeded Earth, along with the Syrians. So the Syrians made contact next with me, and my husband was massively into the Syrians. To be honest, we had been together for maybe 4 years, and we'd never had the Syrian chat. And when I said, oh, these beings called Syrians have come through, and he says, oh, great, I was hoping they would appear. And then he showed me all his books about the Syrians, and I started to learn about their connection with Egypt. They were teaching me about that. And I now know it was the Syrians, but at the time I didn't. I went to a workshop on crystal skulls, actually, with another facilitator, Edwin. And I was told I would do one workshop when I was on maternity leave. So this was 2011. And so we went to this, and it was near Hadrian's Wall in Northumberland, which is kind of sort of the divide between, it's on the border between Scotland and England. And we went to find this sacred well. And I went to the sacred well. It was surrounded by beautiful yellow irises. So I was in my fairy heaven. And I was told, and I thought it was the consciousness of the well, but I now know it was a Syrian appeared and told me that I, in the future, would write a book. Haven't done it yet. I get told I'm writing books on everything, but about stone circles and standing stones. And I thought, well, I know I did archaeology, but I know nothing about this. And then they sort of went away, and it just stuck with me. And now, of course, I've done so many retreats, so many workshops, activating standing stones, stone circles, went to France last year to work at Karnak. So they came through, and then they started to, they didn't ask for a workshop at that point. But then my son had been born, and we were taking him down to see my mother-in-law, who lives 8 miles from Stonehenge in Salisbury. Mm-hmm. And we were driving sort of to the outskirts of Salisbury, and I just said to my husband, the king of the Arcturians is here. And he said, okay. And I said, and there's an Arcturian spaceship that resides over Old Sarum. Now, my mother-in-law's house she's high up in the hill, but she looks out onto Old Sarum, which is one of the largest forts in South England. And I said, we'll need to visit there. So on that trip, we went up to Old Sarum. And I was met by some Arcturians, and they said, come back, we're going to channel a meditation. So I was taking a group to Avebury Stone Circle for the full moon that time, and we were doing a dragon activation there. And so I took the group there, and we did our work, and then my best friend Alilia lives in Kent, so South England, and I said to her, on the way back, do you fancy going to meet some Arcturians at Old Sarum? She went, yeah, sure. So we went there, and I channeled my first Arcturian meditation, which was all about opening up the third eye and our pineal glands. And that was really the start of my experience with them, because the Arcturians are guardians who guard Earth against nephritic energy. So their job is, they've seeded, I'm an Arcturian, that's when I found out I was an Arcturian incarnate on the Earth, and they've seeded Earth to help develop light technology. So Reiki is actually an Arcturian healing technique that was brought by Sanat Kumara onto the planet and then handed to Dr. Yusui, and then other Reikis have followed on since there. So the Arcturians are key ones that are maybe trying to make contact with you. The other ones, which were one of the first ones to seed Earth, were the Orion star beings. So I'm sure you all remember from school being able to identify Orion's belt, Orion the hunter. Mm-hmm. Now the Orions are great, and I love them, and I'd love to work more with them. They were one of the first big workshops, like full day workshops I brought through, and with the Orion masters, and there was 10 Orion master souls working with us. Again, helping just open us up more to connection with the star beings, and bringing through codes. They work a lot with sacred geometry and things too. So, the Orions are key ones. And it was quite a few years later till I had communication with Antarians. They are specialists in love. The Venus beings, they live on the planet Venus, and they are beings of ecstasy. I mean, they are just all about the heart, all about everybody just being love, and they're just a beautiful energy. So I've done a few moons with them as well. Mm-hmm. The Andromedans, they started coming through too. Now they are one of the original races that seeded Earth as well. So we are often talked about as beings on Earth as galactic royalty, because we're actually made up, we'll have all studied in the different temples and ashrams within all these different star systems. And it's likely your first incarnation was maybe into one of them. Earth is relatively young. As a geologist, Earth is quite young. And the other races that started coming to me only recently, only the last 2 years, have the Lyrans. Got my big Lyran skull here to show you. This is a reinvention. This is my largest star being skull. The Lyrans and the Vegans. So Vega is a star of Lyra. Started coming through. But they are the main ones that are communicating with us on Earth. But there are beings from the other stars, like your star being, you've got the Canis Major one, I think, which connects to the dog star of Sirius.
That's this one here.
Yeah. So Pegasus is coming through to me as well, Pegasus star beings. So, you know, they're all trying to make contact. One of their biggest blocks, of course, is our resistance to it. We've been brainwashed. Our veils that we've come through are pretty thick. So we have forgotten that, you know, we can communicate with beings in a different reality, and see their frequency is higher. So as we are ascending now, it's so much easier for many more of us to connect with them, because as we raise our vibration, as we move more fully into fifth dimensional consciousness, then it is easier for them, you know, to relate to us and to, you know, connect with us. And so that is the key thing, is they've always been there. I mean, I take people on my retreats out to spot the spaceships. You can see them all the time. We had one just November. I got up, well, this is the strangest thing happened. I'm terrible at getting up in the morning. Like, you know, I'm always up by 8 o'clock to say goodbye to my son, but I'm not dressed or anything. But my husband, the alarm goes off at 7:10, he's up out of bed. And I was just lying there going, oh. And I mean, I meditate, really. That's what I'm doing. But, you know, so I'm lying meditating, getting my energy prepared for the day, and I clearly heard my husband shout, ouch, like he'd really hurt himself. Now, our house is a bizarre house. It's a house, and then it's got a centre attached to it, a bit like an L shape. And I sleep up the top building there. The kitchen is like down here. So I'm like, oh, he must have hurt himself downstairs. And so I'm shouting, are you okay, darling? No response. Ringus, are you okay? Still no response. Oh dear, I better get up. So out of the bed, I trot down the stairs. He's not in the old part of the house. So I go into the centre. I find my son happily just sitting, playing with something, dressed for school. Walk through, my husband's in the kitchen. I said, I heard you shout, ouch. Did you hurt yourself? And he said, no, I didn't shout, ouch. I was like, no, I clearly heard, ouch. And so then I was up. And then 5 minutes later, we look out onto a stunning view of a hill, and we have a big patio door. And my husband's like, it was just getting light. And my husband's like, can you see that light hovering on top of the mountain? I was like, yeah, what is that? It's not an aeroplane. He's like, it's not, is it? And it started going up and up and up. And then it stalled a bit and went back a bit. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's a spaceship. And then it just went up vertically and disappeared into the thick clouds. So obviously they wanted me to get up.
Yeah, exactly.
To connect with them. And that was actually a spaceship from Antares, which you don't often see the Antarian spaceships so much. So, I mean, I don't need to have visual confirmation like that to connect with them, because I can just channel them anytime I call them forward. So I'm very lucky that way. But at the same time, sometimes it takes a physical experience to make us A, believe, C, remember, and D, to take action in my case. It's, you know, A, B, C, D. There's no other one. But yeah, so you could be having these experiences. There's so many stories of people having different experiences with the star beings. Some of them have been written into books. One of my favourites is the Arcturian anthology by Tom Kenyon, because I'm an Arcturian. So that one explains things quite well. My husband's got lots of different ones. He really likes to play, he's more Pleiadian, more connected with them. So he really likes the Pleiadian books by Barbara Han Clow, like the Pleiadian Agenda. There's a book on sex magic, the Pleiadians have channeled through as well. So he's got a new book just now, Does It Rain in Other Dimensions, which is about somebody who started seeing star beings and then had all these experiences. I love books like that, so I gave it to him for his Christmas. How bad is that? It's not his cup of tea, but I really wanted that book for myself.
No, you can read it too. Yeah, good.
He's like, yeah, I'm getting on fine. I'm like, not finished it yet. I'm itching to get my hands on his new Christmas book. But yeah, people are really waking up. And it's it's so good that they are to them, because they are trying to connect with us all the time. So I've taken people into spaceships when we do the transmissions. The Syrians have been really coming through strongly. They've done a whole series of transmissions, which you can probably pick up for £6 now per one, where they take us up to Sirius. They work on our brains, they're refining our frequency. They did really good healing on the pineal, the hypothalamus, and the pituitary glands. That was a year past. So there's so much healing they can do with their frequency and their technology, and I get really good feedback from those courses for the healing, because they're very precise healers as well. One of the things I would say, I've come across a lot of fear within people about connecting with them, because of programming, because of conditioning, but also because they've maybe had experience with the reptilians or the greys. Not all star races are working for our agenda. Obviously we all know about the Anunnaki that sort of started to interfere with humanity, and I was chatting to somebody recently and I was trying to explain to them, it wasn't that the Anunnaki are bad, they are just what they are. It was just that their agenda was that they required this sort of slave race, and they didn't have the heart consciousness to understand they were interfering in the free will of others and the divine path of others. So they were just following their agenda. It's just their agenda wasn't for the highest and best of us on earth at the time. So, you have to be non-judgmental when you look at all things. Same as the reptilians, they just have their agenda. And they're very fearful when you actually communicate with them, and you start to, I've got people who work with me who do really well in communications with them, just trying to help them understand that this is not of benefit. Their agenda isn't with our agenda. They will back off. They do get it. You just have to be careful not to enter into any contracts with them. So, I can understand why people have the fear, but I've never had any bad experiences with Arcturians, the Orions, the Syrians, any of the beings I've mentioned to you. They are all very loving, and it's part of their mission as the Galactic Masters and Galactic Federation, Council of Light. They all want this experiment, because let's be honest, we are all in an Earth experiment, this experiment that we come in through these veils, that this is the melting pot place within the planet where people can experience third dimensionality, physicalness, and the pleasures of that. But also, can we find our way back to source? Can we remember, Mother Gaia's helping divine source through this play out, but we, after the 2020 shift, tipped into this place where we're on the ascension path. We are heading to the light, and this is why they're all coming through, because they're just really, really keen to help and make contact now.
So I just want to ask everybody, for those of you who have made contact, or if you have seen spaceships or spacecraft, if you want to just type it in the chat and let us all know, because it is more common than you think.
Yeah.
It really is more common than you think. So if you want to type in the chat, that would be awesome, just so we can all get that it is possible for more and more of us.
So I'll just read through some things. An £8 kunzite, amazing. Star being, put a picture of that up, that would be great. Hi to Angel 88. Okay, Bigfoots and orbs. Yep. So actually, after my last chat with you, I started to get visited by the Sasquatch in Scotland, and they actually are known as tree people. There's apparently 500 in my valley. They haven't really wanted to be known, but they've been coming through. I just was sat here at the desk one day, and just about 2 days after our last chat, and you'd been talking about them to me. My husband was over there at the table, sort of over there, sorting out the crystal orders, and I was like, a big orangutan thing has just appeared beside me. Can you see it? And he turned around going, no, I can, but I'm sure it's not a orangutan. It's probably a Sasquatch. And I was like, you know about the Sasquatch too? And he's like, of course I do. And it really was. And I've had all these experiences with them. So they're just beings in their realm that live on Earth, and star beings are beings that parachute into Earth on their spaceships or incarnate. So that's my answer to that, Randy. Angel saw a spaceship when she was young near her home in the country. I was told by a psychic I was taken on the ship at least once, if I don't recall that part. I feel that it was a beautiful enhancement for what I thought I was doing in this lifetime. Would love your thoughts on feelings about that. Yeah, I'm getting that you did go onto the spaceship. It was an awakening opportunity for you. That's why you saw it. You see, you can have the experience where somebody can see a spaceship as clear as anything, and the person stood beside them can't see it. Or they can see it, but they want nothing to do with it. So, you know, they only let us see it if we require that sort of wake up. Paige, I've connected with star beings through the alchemical collective meditations. Okay, I don't know those meditations, but whatever way you connect, that's great. Yep, orbs making crop circles. My mother-in-law, as I said, lives in crop circle country. So, yeah, what's actually happening is that it is star being imprints the crop circles. So star beings are creating them to anchor certain geometries into Mother Earth, onto the Earth. And it's not that they're doing it all the time. It's just you can see them in crop circles. Okay, so you're not going to see them necessarily on a patch of grass, but you actually see them because of the force. But also sometimes they really want detailed ones. They're trying to get our attention, basically, as well. I'm learning to heal nerve damage from FQAD. Don't know what that is, but I've had nerve damage. You can completely heal. You have to take a lot of B vitamins to heal, and B12 in particular helps with nerve damage. But the Syrians and the Pleiadians would be excellent. That meditation I have to help. They've done quite a few. The Arcturians, actually. The Arcturians have brought through 2 or 3 central nervous system healings, because I did one recently. We brought one through just a few months ago on upgrading the central nervous system. So just talk a bit about what our central nervous system is and why. Our central nervous system is what controls all our movement. It's our electrical circuit. But it also connects us with the meridians of the earth. And so the earth is electrical as well. So, you know, your central nervous system is what's really affected by all these energy upgrades. As a channel, I'm using my central nervous system all the time to bring through this high frequency light. So I have to take a lot of, I take a spray, a vitamin B12 spray, because that's what gets really depleted within you. B12, it's hard to actually get B12 from a lot of foods as well. So if you're wanting to channel the star beings more, really upping your B12 supplementation would be beneficial for you. So are the Syrians connected to the whales? Because whales have been around me. Not so much. They're connected to the crocodiles and the alligators. They're the incarnate Syrian consciousness on the earth. That's why they're so ancient. That's why they survived the dinosaurs. And I'm so in love with them. I mean, I know it's a bit crazy. I love crocodiles and alligators. So hopefully, yep.
I was just going to say, the reason why she was asking about the whales in that question is because you were talking about the well. And so,
the whale, yes.
Yeah, so she, you know, with your accent and everything, she might have thought you said whale, but it was well.
Yeah. It's the well, it's where water comes up, my Scottish accent, yes. So I was at the well. It was a natural well, water was naturally coming up. So whales tend to be, they connect with Master Melchizedek. They're often known as the Melchizedeks of the ocean. And of course, they carry a lot of the Lemurian energies as well. So just scanning through, how does this relate to what we experience as fairies and orbs? Don't really know what we're talking about there, but I know we've got a lot to get through and we're half there ready. I'm just seeing if anybody else has seen a spaceship.
Lots of lights. People are seeing lots of lights.
Yeah, lots of flashing lights at night. They can be fairies as well, depends how small they are. The spaceships tend to be they tend to look like stars because they tend to stay quite far away unless they're actually coming down, you know, onto the earth. I have had people who work with me say they've actually seen them go right past, and then the military is like, oh, we were doing some military low flying last night, but actually everybody in the town saw the spaceship. So you know, there is a massive cover up with the governments for this within the MOD. Well, that's what it is in Britain. I'm not sure what you would call it, what they are, Ministry of Defence. So is everyone from a star family? Do we all connect? Pretty much everyone is from a star family. So yeah, we're not doing personal messages tonight. Some of you are asking for that, but we don't have time to do it. So we're going to do messages for everybody. But feel free to join me on my Facebook page. I do messages through that on my lives sometimes. But also with workshops, you get personal messages, or as Alara said, if you book soul channeling, you can always ask about this. But,
yeah. I should have asked. I never asked about that. I asked about other stuff, but I was like, oh yeah, I never asked about that. But you can ask so many different things. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
But it was okay. Awesome.
So what was the next thing? How do we connect with them was the next thing I was going to talk about. Mm-hmm. Okay. So really you're connecting through your sixth sense. So again, most of you will know about this. You might see them. The Sirians are blue, they appear. I see the Sirians, I see the Pleiadians. Ironically, I don't see the Arcturians, who are me, so much. They tend not bother. I don't suppose they need to convince me of who they are. But meditation, obviously, going on meditation to connect with them. I've channeled lots of meditations from them. You want to do as much work as you can on increasing your energy frequency, working on developing your clairvoyance, your clairaudience. Your telepathy, they'll communicate through claircognizance, through your crown chakra. So you could ask a question before bed, ask for the information to be in your consciousness when you wake up in the morning. That's a good technique. You can feel them as well if you open up your heart. I do have a free quiz. It's not for star beings, but it's for connecting with dragons, but it applies to anything. Mm-hmm. So if you sign up to my Dragon Wisdom School, dragonwisdomschool.org, it's free, but you would automatically get emailed a little ebook. It's about dragons, but the quiz within it will tell you what your strongest sixth sense is. So that way, I always say start with where your strongest areas are. Don't worry so much about the weaker parts. Start with feeling confident in what is the strongest area. Mm-hmm. And that can be applied to the star beings as well. Believe in them. The more you believe in them, the more you call them in, the more you say, come and connect with me, the more experiences you're going to have. And as you said at the start, have an open mind. But also, one of the ways that they have tried to connect with us, there's been a proliferation in the last couple of years, 2-3 years, of star being skulls. So as Alara showed her ones, they really help you focus. So this is a Lyran one. So there is a Lyran being consciousness inside this one. This is my green obsidian. This one here, actually, I've got some of the ones that are on the shop. This one here is on the shop. This is a Galactic Master Skull. So this one is, Galactic Masters are we maybe call them priests, and here in Britain, the ones who hold the spiritual knowledge from the stars, because they all have their own jobs. They're not all spiritual beings. They do their own thing like we do. They just do it more in presence of divine source. So this one, AS114, it's a Galactic Master one. You can also, it doesn't matter the stone so much. So this one's an Arcturian. So I really like this one. This is lapis. So this is a grade A lapis from Afghanistan. Really hard to get. So these ones are very good for if you particularly want to see them, open up your third eye with them. My husband has let me borrow his one for tonight to show you. So this is his one. This was the first star being one we got. This is Syrian, and this one's a tiger's eye. So you get different carvings. Obviously, Alara showed her ones there, which were slightly different. This one's Antares. So you can maybe feel the different frequency, a bit softer than Tarians, more love, more sort of feminine than Syrians are. Although you do get female Syrians, they tend to be more masculine in energy, so the Arcturians. It's just that they are not as heart focused as like the Pleiadians, the Venus beings, the other ones. You can also connect with them through drumming, take yourself into a trance. You can go to a high vibration spot, so such as a stone circle, which will be a Stargate portal. So there's lots of Stargate portals around the world, and stone circles are Stargate portals. Karnak, I did a workshop when I came back on Karnak, the French stone alignments, and that is a massive Syrian observatory. So the energy there is amazing if you activate it. So there's lots of different ways, just really the same way you would communicate with angels.
So Linda's asking, do you connect with them through their eyes? How like this one we have,
Yeah, you actually connect with them through your aura. So when I'm telling people to connect with skulls, I actually get them to connect with the third eye of their skull. I see a bridge between the third eye, my third eye, and their third eye. So, you know, where I'm getting to know it. And I would tap the third eye as well to awaken it for communication.
Right.
And I also chant Lem, which is a Lemurian light language, but you don't have to do that every time, just maybe when you first get it, or if you think I've not worked with that for a while, just to make it fully active. But you'll get to the stage where you can just be holding them. I sleep with a crystal skull every night in my arms, hands, sometimes a big skull, which my husband complains by, especially if it's a unicorn with its pointy horn. But, you know, yeah, I like to connect with them when I sleep because, as you said, I'm a busy person, so it's my peaceful time is when I lie in bed. So I connect with them a lot. And also I find it easier to connect with them as well, like looking at the stars. So if you're new to doing it, you start doing some stargazing. I'm very lucky. We have no street lights around here. And, you know, so the stars, if they're out, are very visible. I appreciate not everybody has that, but maybe go to the observatory, maybe get a picture of the star constellation of beings you want to connect with, just download it off the computer, connect into the stars that way, and just really speak to them. Say, I want to communicate, I want to connect. But it's no different to how you connect with any other being, really. It's the faith and the belief that they're there. And just make sure you've got your protection around you. Make sure that you're not carrying anything on board. It's easy to pick up entities. It is easy to have things in your energy field every day. I clear my energy field. You can smudge it. You can do meditation work, visualizations, commands, invocations to clearing them. And of course, that's another thing you do. You can connect with them through invocations. So all my worksheets always start with an invocation to call the beings in, and then you can work with them anytime. So I am planning to revamp my website this year and to create a web page for each different star race, and I'll have an invocation to connect with them on. But we're not there yet, but we will get that done this year. I finished the dragon website, so I'll now be able to move on to.
Yeah, and that took a long time. So, you know, I was like, yeah, it's coming, right?
So much information, I know, because it was down for like 2 years, and then we just didn't have time. But then Lisa came on board because she got made redundant from her law firm job, so she was super excited to get a job doing web management and all the spiritual development work that she loves. So yeah, Lisa came on board and brought everything together. It took ages to sort the template out, actually. So now we've got quite a good template for it. We'll be able to replicate that on all the other sites. And of course, we went VAT registered. So that was another delay. The business was doing so well, we hit the VAT threshold. So we had to change all the product prices. And yeah, it was a mammoth job. But you know what? We've got through it and we're out the other sites.
Exactly. So I was just going to ask, so when it comes to ascension, especially this year, how can we work with the star beings to, you know, not just ease the ascension per se, because I don't think it's any more about having ease, but it's about raising our vibration and frequency in such a way that we don't even notice that there's any ascension symptoms, or you know, all that. I don't think I get that much stuff anymore.
No,
you know,
no, you probably won't. So the star beings, well, this year is the year of the heart coach, Lucy. So it's all about clearing out heart trauma. Venus star beings would be great to work with. I channeled a workshop a few years ago, the 7 layers of self-love from the Antarians. So they are great beings to work with for the heart as well. The Pleiadians too. So a lot of the work they're doing is this refinement of our energy frequency, the refinement of our DNA. They are doing all this technical work. And if you have a strong ego, if you like to be in control, then yeah, you're going to struggle working with star beings, because you have to be trusting, you have to be surrendering and feeling in your intuition. Is this right for me? Is this appropriate? Because it's all about this movement to sovereignty now. And so it's about moving out of the fear place. One of my most popular transmissions was from Ascended Master Dwal Kul, and it was removal from the fear matrix. And actually, I was going to do that again because I was meditating and detected a bit of fear about something the other day. So, you know, that fear matrix is what the Anunnaki star being programmed into us, gripped into us. So we're really breaking out of this, and we're really opening up to our galactic self as well. We're connecting with our galactic guides. That's actually what the new moon, the last eclipse we've just experienced was all about. So yeah, I've got channelings about all this on the website that are free for you under the Metatron reports. So Metatron, as the Angel of Ascension, is working a lot with star beings to help us, because you have to remember they've been through their ascension. They've already done this. An angel actually hasn't, because they don't incarnate. Well, unless you're an incarnate angel, which we all are as well. But you know, some of the guides, which is why Metatron was put in charge of our ascension, because he had been on Earth and got elevated to position of archangel. So yeah, it's very complicated. The key thing is to not think too much in your head, but to live from the heart now. It is all about this undoing your programming, closing off the timelines, closing off the ancestral patterning that you've inherited from your family. And you know, as your consciousness rises, then, as you say, you don't notice so much any ascension symptoms, because you know how to deal with them. You know to drink salt water if you're getting headaches. You know to drink lots of mineral water rather than tap water. You know to do your Epsom salt foot baths and to bathe in that. You know to cleanse your energy system with liver herbs and start your day with lemon water. We know all these things now that we require to do to support our body, look after our diets. You know, we're moving out of this place of ignorance and really into this place of empowerment.
And it's funny, I think, you know,
Sorry.
I'm also becoming a little more sensitive now. So earlier today, there was some painting going on in the building. You know, I didn't know what was going on. It's like, what does that smell? I kept smelling something, and then suddenly I'm like all flushed. My face is like, I'm really good now, but it was like my cheeks were like red, and I'm like a headache, and it's like, oh my God, what is that? And then I found out it's, you know, painting downstairs or something, you know. But I didn't used to be so sensitive.
We're all becoming so much more sensitive because we're increasing our frequency. And so as we increase our frequency, we become aware of the toxins. So a lot of people, you know, when I say to them, come off white sugar, they're just like, I can't do that. But once you come off it, after your first couple of days detox, then your body's like, great, this is how I'm meant to be. Same with caffeine, same with nicotine. I've not drunk any alcohol since 2003. I was told that I couldn't medically do it, but then when they were like, oh, you could probably drink now if you wanted, the angel said no, because it affects your channeling abilities. And then I've learned so much more about it. It doesn't affect just that, it opens you up to the consciousness of alcohol and alcoholism and everybody else who's affected by that. So why would you want to do that? You're doing all this work to preserve your energy field, and you know, you have to just become more refined in all areas, like choosing not to read negative news in the newspapers, you know, being able to observe situations without getting involved in the drama of situations. So, you know, it is about making these choices in life, not society's conditioning. Or it's really interesting. I don't know if you listeners would know this if they're that interested in British royalty, but Prince Harry and his wife Meghan, who's an American, they've just said, do you know what? We're going to step back from royal duties. We can do more good going out on our own. She's a multi-millionaire anyway, so they don't need the money. And they didn't tell the Queen first. That would have been unheard of. You know, they're powering through. It's like the new Diana. So they're bringing in the new codes, the new consciousness of moving out of this place of duty. Well, there is no duty other than to divine source. You all have your paths, you know, and if you're in tune with your path, then you're doing your own duty, you know. But we are conditioned into, or you're a wife, you have this role, or you're a child, you have to behave this way, and all this conditioning now is breaking down because it's not in truth and integrity. And that's another thing the star beings help you move into this this place of as well, being able to be in the sovereignty. I've done a few workshops from them on that, moving into soul sovereignty, and
that can sometimes be a little tricky as you start to step into your power and your sovereignty and start being and doing what's right for you. But it makes a huge difference, you know, for your life.
It does. I'm just looking at some comments. My husband's a homeopath, by the way, Christina. I use homeopathy a lot. I have a homeopathic aura spray. She's right, it does really help. Homeopathy does help you particularly. I think as well that we have to shift into this consciousness place that doing your psychic protection is just like cleaning your teeth every day. It's not conditioned into our society, like putting a coat on before I go out into the snow. I do that because I know I have to protect myself, but because we've grown up in formal religion, or we've not had any spiritual. My son knows about this. He imagines the circle of light. He's 8 now. He knows he's going to wear his crystals. He chooses the crystals he wants to wear. He knows to do meditation if he can't sleep. And he feels the benefit of this, so he actually chooses to do it. So he'll say, Mummy, I can't sleep. Can you take me to Unicorn Castle? And that's his safe place. He goes with his unicorn guide, Rainbow, takes off. Every time he goes to the castle, he gets to choose the healing room or the therapy room or whatever he wants. And that's just his life, and that's his reality. So
beautiful. I love it. So I think we've answered most of the questions. Do the star beings have anything to say about autism?
Right. So autism is an interesting condition. I have an autistic cousin. I've worked a lot with autistic people. I was autistic when I was seriously ill. I went into an autistic state. My trigger word was the word close. I could actually feel words getting stuck in my head, trying to process from one part of the brain to the other part of the brain. A lot of children who are autistic are actually star beings incarnate. I run a forest school for children voluntarily. I'm a forest school leader, and I have a child who comes. Actually, I've got some different autistic children who comes, but one of the children just is being homeschooled by his mother, who had 3 other children, and who went through conventional schooling, and he just wasn't getting on at nursery, so she pulled him out, and he just learns in a different way. And then one day I said to her, you see, he's a Hathor incarnate. And she's like, Hathor? I've never heard of the Hathors. And I said, it's taken me ages to work out what he is, because Hathors don't incarnate that much, but he's a Hathor, and that's why he's very sensitive. That's why he gets overwhelmed easily. He's not been labelled autistic, but he's not been in the system to have been, if you know what I mean. So autism is just a label. It is just, that it's given. It can be brain damage as well, however, which is what happened to me after a flu vaccine. And because I'd known what a normal brain was, though, I had full awareness. I only became autistic at night as well, which was a strange experience. And it was mostly because I was knackered. I was so tired by that time that my brain, my central nervous system, everything. So they're working so hard, these children, just to be present on Earth. And, all the over bombardment of their central nervous systems. I couldn't have people speak to me from my left ear. I couldn't have 2 people talking to me at once, or have the radio on and somebody speak to me. That would send me into seizures. All that was going on was my brain was too sensitive, and I hadn't been able to do the spiritual work at that point to heal it. So yeah, there's definitely a link between autistic children and star beings coming onto Earth.
Mm-hmm. It's not a limitation that the children are autistic. It's not a limitation at all. They're just more aware, and it's just hard for them to function in their awareness and bring the awareness down to fit into this reality.
It's just that our Earth is very stimulating. It's so bombarded. If you meditate with an autistic child, if you start to connect with them on a soul level, they just communicate telepathically all the time. I'm a telepath, so I hear babies. They talk to me all the time, and everybody's communicating telepathically. It's just that we've shut down that. We don't take our time to. We are conditioned into thinking loud music, all this kind of overstimulation is what children require. But unless their brains are calmed down, the neurophysiologist who got me better, she was reversing the autism diagnoses within children, doing the same therapy she did with me to get me well, and using the cell care therapy machine, machine that blasted ions at the brain through the acupuncture points, and it was all holistic. And it was just very time consuming, staff wise, time consuming for the patient, and there's just not enough patience within healthcare, or understanding. Everybody is different, has different ways of function. I'm still a bit autistic. I'll still sometimes say to my husband, oh, can you get me an apple, please? But I really mean a banana. That my brain doesn't, but then my brain's different because of who I am, what I do, and I accept that now. And I know what I can't do, what I can't have food-wise, and I've got self-determination over that. These children don't really, and conventional education, they have to fit into this box that fits all, and it doesn't fit all, and then they're made to feel like it's a lot better than it was, but they're made to feel different. They're made to think something's wrong with them, or the parents are trying their hardest, but they don't understand why they have a child like this. So yeah, it's a very, we could do a whole show chat on that topic.
Absolutely. All right, so was there anything else that you wanted to talk about ascension, or should we do, is there a star being race that wants to come through and channel through you?
Okay, so yeah, let's do that. Let's see who wants to come through. I mean, yeah, if people have ascension questions, just specifically ascension questions, if you want to put them in, but do listen to channeling, it'd be a good thing for you. But put them in now, because lots of people are talking about different things, I see. But if there's any specific question you'd like Alara to ask me on ascension, if we could start the comments just being on that from now on, that's how I have to manage my Facebook Lives as well. And I can always look through your questions and answer them later. So yes, let's, why don't we all just go in a little meditation? Let's connect into the frequency of the star races, and I'll take you on a little journey to do that, and then we'll see who wants to come forward, which is always exciting. Okay. So just taking awareness to your breath, closing your eyes when you feel ready. Taking a couple of centering breaths, breathing in love, breathing out any negativity. Allowing yourself to relax. Becoming aware of your auric field of light. Tonight, visualize a beautiful magenta, purple and blue light engulfing your auric field. Invite any of your guides to come around you to support you through this experience. Asking for your chakras to open up. Asking to connect to Divine Source. Bring down the beautiful divine light. Feel this divine light traveling down through all your chakras, dissolving away any discordant energy, any disbeliefs that you are carrying or maybe programmed into about star being, and our ability to communicate with them on Earth. Let's dissolve away any doubts that people have about their ability to communicate with star being, and to be a psychic channel. Taking your awareness down to your feet chakras. See, feel, sense, notice two beautiful golden roots of light. Burrowing down now, deep, 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 deep down to the center of Mother Earth. Feel, know, sense when you've connected with her grounding energy, spreading your roots out like the roots of an old oak tree. As you do this, feel her love traveling all the way up your beautiful roots, up, 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 right into your heart center. Now you connect with the star beings from your heart. You send them love. You ask for any star being guides who wish to come forward to you to make their presence known now. Maybe there'll be one, maybe two, maybe three or more. You acknowledge their presence. Feel their supportive energy. So now we gather as a collective consciousness and welcome through whatever star race wish to bring us a message at this time. We hold a space of love, a circle of protection, So we're able and ready to receive any codes, any frequencies the star beings wish to bring forward in this transmission. Greetings, greetings, greetings. I am known as Lord Arcturian. It is a privilege for me to have this opportunity to come forward and connect with you all as I prepare my channel and her frequency in order to bring this transmission through. I am now preparing each and every one of you listening to this in any realm and dimension in all time and space. We Arcturians are wishing to make a greater contact with humanity at this time. We have been observing closely you all going through the intense shifts within the Earth's morphic grid field of light. We see many of you are fast tracking in this process. Those of you who have been willing to receive guidance and to diligently work on your ascension path. Those of you who are now embarking upon it, perhaps for the first time. We wish to offer our services to attune you to the frequency of the new Earth templates. You may wonder why we, the Arcturians, are doing this when you live on the Earth. But we are able, through our foresight, to see where you are blocking making the full steps into the ascension path, or the next rung of the ladder, as you may say. We offer you this upgrade transmission to begin to awaken you to your full soul potential. We Arcturians are masters of light technology. This is why Reiki has proliferated so quickly through the spiritual communities. Often it is seen as a wake-up route, for it is encoded light that is universal. It awakens you and reconnecting you to the universal light within you. We, the Arcturians, have agreed on behalf of the Galactic Federation to pioneer further light technology, healing, in order to process the full ascension codes available now on Earth. You must refine your brain processing. Your scientists are only aware of what 20% of the brain actually does. There is 80% unknown to them, but known to us. We do not see you as physical beings. We see you as light beings. We see your organs as light. We see your chakras as vortexes. And we are able to see when toxins are lodged, when masses of negativity form, or stagnant energies. And we are able to see whether you have activated your brain codexes. Now, many of you may not be ready to do this yet, but we are seeding into your consciousness the understanding of this, so that when the time comes, when your soul has increased and refined its frequency enough, further parts of your brain will awaken. You may have seen in your archaeological records there, where skulls have been found of humans who have long heads, like we are depicted in your literature. This is because their brains were more elongated. They had activated their brain codexes and were in great contact with star races. Over the years, as the consciousness of Earth fell, the shape of the brain rounded, as less space was needed for the inactive parts of the brain. Many souls who manifesting to form neurological illnesses and conditions, have been embarking on this as a route to awaken the dormant parts of the human brain. Once they start to spiritually awaken, symptoms decrease or even dissolve completely. For it is only your consciousness that programs into you illness as being unhealable. All illness is just a manifestation of a vibration frequency that is intolerable to your body and to which it is the soul's choice to remove, to evolve and to grow through. Here are those who are willing and ready. We will do the activation now. What you have to do is take your awareness inside your brain. You may notice sensations. You may notice tension. You may experience pain, but know you are safe. We begin the work now. You will start to experience a colour now. This colour will be different for each of you, depending on which ray you require. We are seeing emotions programmed within your brain. Some of these emotions are unhelpful for you going forth, and you may see them in your consciousness. We ask you be willing to allow us to release this patterning for you now. Letting go of resistance, please. Well done. Transmission is complete. Now our healing activation has completed for you. Take your awareness to your heart. Perhaps you wish to hold over your heart your hand. This is to allow you to ground through the heart center. Breathe into your heart 3 times. It has been an honor for me to come forth today, and a privilege. Goodbye. So as the Lord of Arcturus withdraws his energy, just allow yourself to become aware of your physical self again. Starting to wiggle your fingers and toes, because this starts to activate the consciousness of your physical form as you allow yourself to fully transcend back into this. Tap the top of your head where the crown chakra comes forth from, just to allow the circuitry to make the shifts. Tap any area you wish of your head that you feel drawn to and guided to. When you're ready, place the palms of your hands together so that your hand chakras are in what we would call prayer position. This is a mudra that returns balance to the body. You can place the thumbs into your third eye chakra, which is between your eyebrows. Take a few deep breaths as you integrate the shifts that have occurred for you now. Checking your grounding roots are still connecting you into the earth. We ask for a cloak of protective light to be placed around us. And when we're ready, we can open our eyes and come back round into our sacred spaces. Namaste.
Oh my goodness, that was awesome.
It was a good one, actually, wasn't it?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. That was...
I really felt that. I got green and I got yellow as the two colours, and they were working on sort of this part of my brain.
Yeah.
It was really interesting information, I think.
I got a goldish green, you know, so.
That's what I got, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh my goodness, it was awesome. And I felt like they were working on the back of my head, you know, and doing all sorts of stuff. And now I've got the goosebumps all over. It's like, my goodness.
So please, everybody, drink plenty of water. I've run out of water. I'll be off to get some in a minute. But yeah, drink plenty of water, because don't underestimate how powerful their transmissions are. You might get a slight brain detox as well, which just means that, you know, when you get brain detoxes, your sweat can smell a bit different. It can just, you might notice you're a bit smellier, but it's just flush the toxins out, because obviously it comes down into your lymph glands there. It's the major release point. So, you know, maybe go for a nice gentle swim tomorrow or for the next couple of days, and take some time. You know, don't rush off to do other things. If you can sit for a moment after having this transmission and just relax, and especially if you've never done any work like this before, and especially if you've not worked with me before, as Alara said, my transmissions are quite powerful, so don't underestimate the shift that your body and your energy field's been through. You might want to work with crystal to help you ground, like the black obsidian is very good for grounding, or I've got some shungite here. It's good for grounding. In fact, I always would usually wear my shungite necklace, and I didn't wear that today, which is interesting. So
I have Numite.
Numite is I have a bracelet of that. Yeah. Numite's very good. They're sort of like higher stones. So I hope everybody's enjoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's talking about all the different colors that they saw, and beautiful. Nice. Yeah, it was powerful. Yeah, you can definitely do it again. I would wait. Yeah. I would not do it again today, you know, so you could
leave
do it again.
A couple of days, and then you can do it again to get another upgrade. So
yeah, because I'm still feeling it. So it's not just because like we finished, it does not mean that the work is finished, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you've had all this work done on you, so you have to allow it to process. You know, it's like when you go for a massage, you don't just all of a sudden get off the bed and then go and get, you know, all involved in really technical mind stuff. So, and if you get a headache from the experience, really good quality sea salt, if you that, like Himalayan salt, and take it as strong as you can. So you might be thinking, oh, this isn't strong at all. The person beside you is like, oh, this is really strong. Because what the sea salt does is it remineralizes your brain too. Yeah. And you may feel really tired. You know, it is late at night, but it can make you feel, well, it's late at night here for me, and probably you as well there, but it can feel tired. You've had brain work done. You wouldn't go in for brain surgery and then think you're going to feel fabby-dozy, so it's no different.
Exactly. Sorry?
Just less painful, hopefully, than physical brain surgery.
Definitely, much less painful. And, you know, tonight, you know, you might have, you know, when you go to sleep, you might continue to experience the Arcturians or the other star beings. Be open to that. You know, if that is something that you want, be open to that, right? Protect yourself, of course, like always, but, you know, be open.
Yeah, I'm just seeing a post here about somebody saying they think it's a bit paradoxical opening our hearts and being aware of the reasons for psychic defense at the same time. I don't see why that's paradoxical at all. You're opening your heart, so you just want to have some protection in case there's anything that is not got your heart for the highest best and its intentions. So we're not judging them, we're just saying that certain races have certain agendas. We don't have to be part of their agenda. Some races don't observe free will because their consciousness is lower. So, this is why we do the best way. And star beings do, they think they're best to allow if you're making love, moving, and continue. Well, the Venus star beings are good for Kundalini work. I would definitely call in them if you're wanting to. But the Pleiadians, there's a whole Pleiadian book written. I'm sure it's a Barbara Hanclough one. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure it's all about sex magic and the Kundalini energies. So
yeah, exactly. I don't know if you want to answer that one about detaching from the 3D matrix, and I'm not sure.
Essaying, I think that's somebody that works with me quite a lot. You know how to do it. Is you just you have to overcome your ego. Basically the 3D matrix is just keeping us trapped in the pain matrix, and it's in the duality matrix of right, wrong, black, white, rather than the acceptance matrix of 5D consciousness. So it's about overcoming your ego, mastering your fears, letting go of them, and being willing to change your consciousness, diligently doing the belief pattern clearing daily. I used to spend hours and hours doing that kind of work. You get to a certain level where, well, most of it's done, so it's just the odd thing that pops in. But also just fully designed to take your foot out of those negative places, those drama-filled places that feed the pain body. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And choose, continue to choose to...
Yeah, choose the love, choose the light.
Yeah. I mean, I don't focus on a lot of stuff like in the 3D. I choose to focus on love, expansion, and just
well, there's a reason there's a reason that our news always starts with a terrible crisis rather than a loving story. The newspaper headlines are not about loving stories, they're about negativity, because they're all part of this reptilian agenda of keeping us in the 3D, matrix of pain, because that's what they get food from. So our food is now coming from love and light, and their food's not. So they're worried we're escaping from, we're running away, so this is the other agendas. And, I always see it as a bit like, you want to plug up the holes because you want to not have the place that they can hook into. So you want all your weakness in that respect to be released from you, so that there's no chance of them hooking you in, because it's all vibration. So if you want to be in a functional relationship, you want to be in a relationship where you've not got one person with that bit of the jigsaw that's poking out and one person with the hole to fill it. You want them both to be little square boxes where you are consenting to be in this mutual sacred union. And that's not to say that we're all at that place now, but we're signing up to work through that in sacred union together. So your partner is your mirror too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My husband's great. Just he's the best. So I was going to ask you about if you want to share your website, because I always forget what it's called.
It's elementalbeings.co.uk, and I also run the Elemental Beings group on Facebook. You're welcome to join there, and I'm also Alphedia Arara channel on Instagram. I don't really use my Twitter very much, but I am Elemental Beings on there. But the website elementalbeings.co.uk. If you go to the shop section, you'll be able to go into all the different courses, because each one's got a channeled message. So even if you just want to look at the different channelings, they're all free there for you to read. You might find them on the webpage too, but we're moving it all into the shop format just because of the sheer volume. Oh, this one's fallen over. I think the Vega one didn't get to say hello, so it just fell over there. So I've got so many channelings from star beings. Feel free to sign up to the newsletter, send them out regularly with all different courses for different things. But it's, even if you don't do the course, you get the channeled message, you get the hit from the message, even just reading it, and you can feel what resonates from you. So as I say, I always put out the channelings from the star beings. So there's lots of information there, and we have lots of the skulls like this on the shop. They're not all up yet, but you know, if you're looking to become a guardian, there's different ones. The biggest one that's in the shop just now, this one, let's say hello to. This is a Lyran one, actually. It wanted to be shown. This is a really powerful big Lyran one, and all my skulls come with a channel guided meditation that will help you connect in with them. So you get that added bonus that if you're thinking, oh, I've never worked with them before, it's a little 10-minute meditation, and it'll take you through so that you can connect with them, and obviously I cleanse and bless them. I'm going to put all the star beings out tomorrow night, maybe in snow, to harness the eclipse energies as well. They've all asked for that, so they're going to get an eclipse activation as well.
Nice. And so how long is that 50% off workshop sale on until?
It's on for, well, where are we now? Thursday? Yeah, it's on for about another 10 days, another week at least. So yeah, if, to be honest, they run on always longer than they're meant to, because people are like, oh, I don't get paid till this day. I'm like, okay, we'll run it a bit longer. So yeah.
Okay, and what's the code for that again?
Day after, just let me know.
Yeah. What's the code again?
It is New Year's Sale. NEWYEARSALE.
All right, I'm just typing in the chat so that it's there. All right, thank you, Destiny.
It's elemental beings.co. All one word, that is Destiny, because she was like, it's not working. It's like, don't have spaces, just do one word.
Yeah, exactly. New Year's Sale, awesome. All right, and
thank you for following me as well. It's wonderful. So many came online.
So hot now. So is there any other last words of wisdom that you have for us?
Just be in your heart, you know, just go with whatever you feel, and be willing to ask for help. You know, the star beings will help you, but I'll help you too. I'm always available pretty much on Facebook. It takes a bit longer now. I've got somebody on to man my emails just because the business has grown so much. I can't respond to everything as quickly as I used to. But Lisa does reply. The email is info@elementalbeings.co.uk. She forwards things on to me. I usually get round to it within a week, within a few days. So it just depends if you're lucky, if I have some space this week. I'm pretty flat out, because if I'm channeling, if I'm in that channeling space, I can do it, but it's not really worth me dragging myself into 3D consciousness to, you know, respond to things. So I have to really be focused, and the channeling list is so huge. I also need to channel my Glastonbury retreat that will be happening in May, so we'll probably be working with the Venus star beings for that one, I think. But usually on the retreats I bring through a star being transmission, because everybody loves to go out together at night and we see if we can spot the spaceships. It's always a fun experience. So I need to try and get that done over the next couple of days. So yeah, it's full on busy, but this time of year it always is.
And you do a lot of Facebook Lives.
I do. So the most recent one, there's one up, which I did a couple of nights ago. So feel free to watch that one. I do that on my profile, Alphedia Arara Kenchington. So I still got space for another 1,000 people to join that, and then we'll have to work out how I'm going to do it. But no, it's, I do lots of Facebook Lives. So I'll be doing another one on Saturday evening for the dragons, because we've got the lunar dragons coming through on Sunday. So that's just a 2-hour workshop, but it'll be powerful. People like the little workshops as well, because most can afford them too, price-wise. So yeah, it's all just busy, and I am writing a Syrian book, supposedly. They keep hounding me. I have done the introduction, so I don't know where you find the time to get. I'm determined to get this pretty much written by March. So yeah, it's intense, but you know what, I just asked the universe to provide me with more time, and they do. And I have a wonderful husband who's happy to do bedding and cooking and all the things that helps he's having to do tonight, since I have been busy obviously with you this evening. Yes, awesome. Massive help. So thank you so much for having me on again. It's been lovely to connect with all your lovely people. And yeah, just to say, some people have fed back that they don't always get the newsletters. Different servers can block them, because if there's a lot of newsletters going out. So if you feel you're not getting them, feel free to send an email through with your email, and my husband can go in manually and look at if it is your system that's blocking it, or if there's another reason, he can change that, because that's something that seems to have started. Heart Internet, which is what we use, is the biggest newsletter provider thing, but then they fall out with, or AOL falls out of them, or Yahoo or whatever, and this is thing, it affects everybody. But you just have to drop an email to the office and they usually sort it out for you, and you will get a couple of weeks. So if you're not getting a couple of weeks,
but most of the information is on Facebook as well.
I put a lot of it on the Facebook. Yeah, that's right.
On the different pages, so it's all available. So
all accessible. And I do plan to start YouTube, but I mean, I do have a YouTube channel, but I've not done much with it. But I've been told this year I have to start doing more videos, short videos. So hopefully you can send me ideas for what you would like them to be on. That would be great.
Awesome. Yeah, lots of ideas for sure. Awesome. So thank you, everybody, for all of your questions and comments and feedback. And, you know, star beings is a huge topic. You know, we've all seen, well, not all, we've all seen spaceships, or we've connected with star beings. You know, it's not that scary, you know, and I channel them all the time, and it's wonderful. It's great, because that's where all my processes come through. 1 second.
Something's happened. Yeah.
Yeah. 1 second. There we go.
That was the start being being.
So yeah, it's fun. It's, you know, we're learning, we're expanding, we're growing. So don't be scared. Just protect yourself and just trust and open up your heart. So thank you, Alphedia. So much fun. Always learn so much. So yay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so powerful. Please do go to her website and check it out. There's wonderful stuff. There's so much information. Use the code, get some of those workshops. They're amazing. All right, so this is another way to empower you to be more of who you truly are, and live your fullest potential. So thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health.
Bye.
Blessings always. Bye for now.
Bye.